What up, blessed team? How y'all doing today? I hope all is well, but most importantly, you are having a very productive day. Depending on when you're listening to this, it doesn't matter. You must find a way to execute. Your life is that important. You matter. You must find a way to do what is required to get to the places you want to be in your life. And that's why I stress on it all the time. But I hope you took the necessary time to spend quality moments, those great experiences that we talk about with the people that really love you, the acquaintances, your friends, best friends, mom, dad, uncle, family members, nuclear family, extended part of the family. Reach out to people that genuinely care about you, the ones that actually will be at your funeral, that most likely will not be me. All your favorite content creator, that's most likely not going to be the case. So make sure that you check in with these people. They matter. I think they are the most important people in our lives. And I hope you think the same way as well. So if this is your first time coming across the podcast, my goal, my mission with this podcast is to inspire 1 billion people to become the best version of themselves through insightful conversations about fitness, nutrition, as well as personal growth advice, right? So in terms of the fitness stuff, we like to focus more on building muscle, losing weight. So if you want to find strategies, tips on how to lose weight, build muscle, and overall maintain a quality nutrition that will help you stay healthy for the rest of your life, this will be the right podcast for you. And these are things that we talk about all the time on this podcast. And on top of that, when it comes to personal growth, I like to spend a lot of time talking about practical ideas, which is what we're going to be talking about today, things that you can implement in your life to help you sustain the benefits that you get from exercising and training. And on top of that, help you go out there and achieve your big goals, your dreams and aspirations. All right. So if any of these things interest you, you out there, you want to lose weight, you want to build muscle, maybe overall, you just want to gain a little bit of confidence so you can take the first step towards the things that you've been thinking about for a long time, this will be the right podcast for you. All right. So thank you for chiming in. I really do appreciate this. I still can't believe that we are on episode 9. Like, think about how fast time goes by. I still remember in February when I made the decision to start the podcast. And we are on episode 9. By the way, for those of you that don't know, the episodes comes out every Thursday at 1 o'clock on all podcast platforms. Catch it. And I'm telling you, there's something that's powerful about listening to one of these episodes. You are always going to learn something valuable, something resourceful that if you actually implement it into your life, you will become a better version of yourself. All right. Anyway, now that we got all those things out of the way, let's dive into today's topic. We're talking about productivity hacks. And I actually don't like the idea of hacks. Let's go with productivity habits, right? That you can implement in your life to change your life around so you can go out there and achieve your big goals, your dreams and aspirations, right? I'm going to give you about 4 tips, habits, strategies that you can implement going forward. Or if you already have them and you don't have all of them, you can implement some of these to your already established ones. That way you can go and achieve your big goals and dreams. The first thing on the list that I believe if you do go ahead and implement in your life is going to help you become more productive is you must find a way to prioritize and plan every single week what you are going to do. And when I talk about planning, I'm not talking about just randomly writing things down. I need you to actually think about what you are about to do. Like every hour of each day of the week, there has to be an activity that is meaningful to you, something that's valuable, an activity, a task, something that you spend time on that at the end of the day, you're going to say, okay, you know what? I got this out of that. You cannot go into the week with no idea of what you're going to do. That's what happens. And then you get to the end of the month, you get to the end of the year, and you cannot point out one thing that you actually accomplished, right? This all comes back to being intentional, and planning is the first process to making sure that you become more productive towards the things that ultimately means a lot to you. So please find a way to prioritize that. You matter. I said this from the beginning. Your life is that important. If you cannot take care of yourself, if you cannot value who you are by planning ahead of time, then you're not going to get what you want. You have to become 100% cognizant of this. When you do the work, when you take the time to plan what matters to you, you don't get distracted that easily. Your friends are not going to be able to pull you because you got things to do. The only way you can actually be productive is having things to do, right? So when your friend reach out and say, hey, buddy, what you doing? You're not going to tell them that, I got nothing going on. Oh, you want to go party? Then all of a sudden, it takes you into the next hour of an activity that needed to be accomplished. Find a way, take Sunday, Monday, write a few things down. Again, something that's meaningful, and plan on how you are going to do this the upcoming week. All right. The second thing that I believe can help you become more productive is making sure you bring specificity and clarity to your overall goals daily. Yes, it's incredible to have a plan. Yes, it's awesome to know exactly what needs to be done at a particular day, but we want to make sure we know exactly what needs to be done. Example, if you want to be able to read, don't just say, I'm going to read this week. That is not a very clear and specific goal that you can target and go after. I want to be able to read one chapter on Thursday at 2:30 p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. This is something that if you can do consistently, if you have clarity in everything you are supposed to do, your brain finds the answers for you. So don't just plan. Actually think about what you're putting down. I want to go to the gym and work on cardio for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I'm going to go to the sauna and spend another 20 minutes. I'll be doing this on Friday evening at 4:30 p.m. Make things as easy as possible for your life. Remember, this is your life. It's not for anybody else. It's not my life. I'm only giving you tips, guidelines, productivity hacks that will help enhance the life you currently have, that will make you become more productive towards the things that really matters to you. But at the end of the day, this is your life. And it is vital you find a way to bring a certain level of clarity to what you're supposed to do. The easier you make it, the easier it will be for you to accomplish that particular thing. But then if you make it vague, it's most likely that you are not going to do what is required to get to where you need to be. The third productivity hack on this list is one of those that have completely changed my life. And whenever I get a chance to talk about this, I really want you to pay close attention. Time blocking and time allocation for priorities in your life will completely transform who you are. If you are already not doing this, you must, right? And what do I really mean by this? It means you have priorities. For instance, I want to be able to read one chapter today of a specific book. What you want to do is that you want to set a time frame. Let's say from 2:30 to 3 o'clock, or maybe from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. I prefer to do this early in the morning because what I realize is when I read early in the morning, I'm sharper, I'm more focused, and overall my communication skills is a lot better. So I prefer to do this in the morning, but allocate the proper time to focus on what matters to you. You have to find a way to say from 6 p.m. to 6:30, I'm going to the gym. And when I'm in the gym and I'm training my chest and I'm working on that cardio, I'm not picking up my phone. If anybody reach out to me on Instagram, I'm sorry, but this is my moment to focus on what matters to me. Time blocks are so valuable in making sure you do what really matters. And let me tell you something. When you have time blocks, you become obsessed. When you have time blocks, you are focused. And when you actually focus and you have do not disturb turned on, you don't have notifications coming on your phone, and you are really focused on what needs to be done, you become effective, you become efficient. You also discover all the mistakes along while you are taking that particular action. Trust me on this when I say you have to find a way to allocate time for what matters to you. Again, you can take care of all your low leverage tasks later in the day. It's not that much of a big deal. I still want you to get it done. And I'm talking about cleaning your bedroom, doing those small little things, right? Because at the end of the day, we all have a certain amount of energy. I was telling my girlfriend this morning. We don't have unlimited energy every single day. We have a finite amount of energy. And so you want to make sure you use a ton of that energy on things that matters to you. And one of the ways you can do this is by making sure you have proper time set for particular tasks that mean a lot to you. Remember, you can take actions all the time, but if you are not taking the actions that is moving the goalposts and getting you closer to who you want to become and where you want to be in life, those are just a bunch of actions. It's kind of like acquiring a bunch of knowledge and really not implementing it or taking actions. You have to be aware of this, all right? The last one on the list that will help you become more productive so you can achieve the small goals, the big goals, the visions, the objectives in your life is you have to find a way, somehow, some way, to minimize as many of the distractions as possible. Now, this is something I'm a corporate myself, and so I'm going to be honest about it. TikTok can take you away from what matters. If you want to be productive, when you are doing things that matters to you, TikTok has to be put away. If you want to be productive towards what matters to you, you might have to turn off your phone. You might have to make sure you are not in environments that promote things that won't support the action that you're actually taking. So if you are reading, you don't want to be in a club reading. You don't want to be in a bar reading when it's so loud over there. It's not conducive for taking such an action. Minimize the distractions. If your friends are distracting you from taking actions that matters to you, you find a way to remove that. I'm not saying cut your friends off completely, but within that time slot, this is your time, just like the time blocks. We want to make sure we reduce the distractions as much as we can, because the truth is, the distracted you are, you're not focused. It takes you longer to accomplish certain tasks, which means you don't have a lot of time to work on other things that really matters to you. If you want to get more done, if you want to be efficient at doing what you do, if you want to be more effective at what you do, you have to minimize the level of distractions that's coming your way every single day. Now, again, it doesn't have to just be your phone. Maybe it's email on your computer. Maybe you spend too much time taking one action that's supposed to only take 30 minutes. Now, all of a sudden, you're spending about 2 hours on it. You have to be aware. Minimize as many distractions as possible. That way you can focus on what really matters to get the outcomes that we ultimately desire. So before we get to the quote of the week, this is what I need you to understand. If you really want to get your outcomes, if you really want to get closer to the things you want, if you want to achieve that big aspiration, that goal of yours, the thing that you can't go to sleep without, then you need to understand that you will have to do things. And some of them might be a little bit uncomfortable. Some of them might push you a little bit harder. You might have to sacrifice some sleep. You might have to cut some friends off for a few hours so you can have the time needed to work on what matters to you. I'm going to take a quick moment to recap everything that we touched on today. First, we must plan every single weekend. No excuses. I need to know. You have to know where you are going, which means we need to plan and prioritize what matters to us for that particular week. And if you do not take time for yourself, like I said, if you do not bring a certain level of critical thinking during that process, you are going to write down aimless goals and things that don't mean a lot. Plan, prioritize what matters, and go get it done. Number 2, make sure those plans, those goals daily are clear and very concise, right? You have to know exactly what needs to be done. It can't be vague, because if it's vague, then you can't really even strategize on what needs to be done to get you to that place, all right? So be cognizant of this. Make it as clear as day. That way you know what actions need to be taken. The third one on the list is making sure that we have allocated time. We have time blocks, slots allocated for specific tasks. And within that time frame, you're not talking to anybody else. The only thing that matters is you and your goals and the actions that need to be taken. The last one on the list is finding a way to minimize all sort of distractions. They're still going to come your way. Emergencies are going to pop up. But if you can put yourself in a better situation, in an environment where it's conducive for the action that you're taking, if you can turn your phone off, if you can put do not disturb on, I believe it's going to serve you beautifully in the long run. So for the quote of the week, it's a very powerful one, and I need you to pay close attention. It says, there is a great satisfaction in knowing that We've lived up to our expectations of ourselves by Gretchen Rubin. By the way, Gretchen Rubin is a great American writer, so y'all should check her out. She wrote one of her books called The Happiness Project, which I think is a fantastic book. So y'all take the time, do the homework, and go read it. But let's get back to the quote. There is a great satisfaction in knowing that we've lived up to our expectations of ourselves. This is something that we all know. That day when you wake up, you clean your room, you go to the gym, you meal prep, you check in with your kids, you check in with your friends. You feel like you're very productive. Like that feeling feels great. When you get things done, right? That's something that's for certain. You feel great about yourself. And so all of us, the whole entire podcast today was all about getting things done. Guess what? Last week we talked about the art of getting things done. And today we're talking about productivity hacks. Having a plan, which if you want to do anything in life, you should have a plan. Being very clear on that plan. Having time blocks to execute on what matters. Minimizing all sort of distractions. All of these things is so that we can find a way to be productive towards what means a lot to us. There is great satisfaction in knowing that you did what you promised yourself you were going to do. I didn't say that. That's what Gretchen said. So for the rest of this upcoming week, if you haven't planned already what you're supposed to do, that's your homework. Plan. If you're not clear on what exactly needs to be done each and every day, make sure you take care of that. If you have too many distractions coming from your phone whenever you executing on what matters to you, find a way to eradicate them. This is your life we're talking about. And the more productive you are, the more you give yourself as many chances as possible to succeed, right? People talk about luck. I'm not lucky to be doing these videos. You know what time it is right now? It's like 12 midnight. I could be going to sleep. You don't think I'm tired? Of course I'm tired. But there are people that are looking up to me. There are people that look forward to seeing these episodes. And if it doesn't come out tomorrow, we're in trouble. So guess what? I have to find a way to execute. And therefore, I know you can find a way to execute. Get the job done. And when you get it done, you might not get the results you want, but you do get a certain type of result. Thank you again so much for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I hope you learned a lot that's valuable, but most importantly, something that you can implement in your life today or going forward to make it better. Remember, if you listen to the whole thing and you do not apply, it doesn't count. It's like reading a book and not applying. It's a waste of time. Why would you listen and not apply? So find a way to apply it to your life, because if you do, you are going to see a difference. All right. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube. We have the video format over there, as well as any other podcast platforms. You guys, show some love, show some support, and find a way to stay out of trouble. Y'all stay blessed, and I'm going to catch you next Thursday.